and the kind of dull front office grind that puts even interns to sleep. And then, boom, the door to his day doesn't just open, it explodes off the hinges. The Miami Dolphins storm in like WWE villains cutting a promo, yelling, "We're taking Shedeur Sanders." Barry nearly baptized his laptop in a waterfall of scalding coffee. This isn't your casual NFL rumor mill. No polite phone calls, no subtle trade whispers. This is pure theater, an NFL soap opera written with gasoline and set on fire. The Dolphins aren't browsing the market for a quarterback. They're hunting apex predators. And Cleveland? Cleveland suddenly looks less like a football franchise and more like bait dangling off the end of a blood-soaked hook. Barry had convinced himself life was stable. Spreadsheets, draft boards, pretending there's actually a 5-year plan taped on the wall. In his head, drafting Shedeur Sanders was his masterpiece, the kind of move that makes executives whisper words like genius and visionary. But then, like a Hollywood heist gone wrong, the Dolphins smash into the script. They don't want someday. They don't want maybe. They want Shedeur right now. Barry's jaw didn't just drop. It unhinged like a cartoon character on Saturday morning TV, springs practically popping out the side. And here's where it gets even more insane. Miami isn't alone. Teams are lining up, eyeing Shedeur like he's the last diamond on earth. Meanwhile, in Cleveland's own locker room, his head coach still treats him like an unpaid intern, good for nothing more than handing out towels and Gatorade.
Change under center after a dreadful start. They want Shedeur Sanders traded to the Dolphins. Should Miami make a new move, Ocho?
It's only week 1, huh? It's no time to hit the panic button.
Man, the fans don't care about no week 1, week 2, week 10.
Hold on. Wait a minute. Now I'm part of the fans. I'm a true Dolphin fan.
The Browns' front office and coaching staff, they might as well be orbiting in different galaxies. Andrew Barry is on his soapbox, shouting to every camera and reporter who will give him a microphone. This is the guy. This is the future. This is our savior. He's practically ready to carve Shedeur's bust for Canton before the kid has even unpacked his locker. Meanwhile, Kevin Stefanski's on the sideline like a man polishing his clipboard at a candlelight dinner. He treats that thing like it's a soulmate, whispering under his breath, "Future? Forget the future. I'm buried in the present. And in the present, rookies don't win me games." The man is so allergic to letting Shedeur shine that the trainers should keep an EpiPen taped to his headset. One glimpse of rookie swagger, and Stefanski breaks out in hives. And then, out of nowhere, Miami crashes the party. The Dolphins. Not some desperate rebuild franchise clawing for hope. No, this is the team that turned Tyreek Hill into a human cheat code and made Tua look like a Madden cover athlete on Sundays. Now they've locked eyes on Shedeur Sanders like a predator spotting its next prize. Here's the jaw-dropper. They don't see him as promising or give him 2 years to develop. They see him as instant impact, plug-and-play elite, which makes Cleveland look absurd, like a guy polishing his Ferrari in the garage but insisting on driving a busted 97 Honda Civic because it's got character. And let's get this straight. The Dolphins don't toss around trade offers like candy bars on Halloween night. They're surgical. They're predators. When they circle, it means they've already smelled blood in the water. It means they see what Cleveland refuses to admit. A quarterback who can flip the entire script of a franchise. Meanwhile, the fans? Oh, the fans are finished waiting. They're sick of patience, allergic to excuses. Social media is already flooded with Photoshop masterpieces. Shedeur rocking that teal Dolphins jersey, grinning like destiny's already decided. For Cleveland's faithful, it's like watching their golden ticket get snatched away before they even had a chance to cash it in.
Honestly, Shedeur going to Baltimore, he didn't want to be the side chick. I said that yesterday. He would have just been the side chick. And I don't even know if he would be in front of Huntley or behind Huntley.
Nothing stings harder than watching your guy in another team's colors. Cleveland's already muttering. Get Shedeur out before Stefanski ruins him. Pure chaos. Barry's stuck in the middle like a tired dad refereeing kids fighting over an Xbox. Stefanski's clutching his system. Other teams are circling like vultures, and the fans? They're done waiting. At this point, Stefanski's refusal to play Shedeur isn't strategy. It's ego. He guards his playbook like it's the crown jewels, even though the system's rusted junk. Everyone sees it. The fans, the locker room, even buried deep down. And while Cleveland hesitates, Miami's standing by, licking their chops.
Long time, and it hurts me that I've never been able to see us have a successful season, have a great quarterback outside of Dan Marino. We've been looking for that position for a very long time. I thought Tua was the answer. I still think Tua was the answer. It's too soon to hit the panic button. Everybody can't be this superstar tier 1 quarterback like Mahomes and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen. Everybody can't get that. But what we can have an adequate quarterback that can facilitate the ball, do what's asked of him offensively, not turn it over, and we can win games.
Miami isn't just interested, they're salivating. They'll happily tear up their entire playbook and rebuild the offense brick by brick around Shedeur Sanders. Picture it. Shedeur dropping back with Tyreek Hill streaking like a human lightning bolt on one side and Jaylen Waddle carving up defenses on the other. That's not football. That's Mario Kart on turbo mode, with blue shells flying every single snap. Defensive coordinators wouldn't even bother game planning. They'd just pray for rain. And Cleveland fans? They're not sugarcoating a thing anymore. They're openly chanting for Shedeur to get out while he still has a career left to save. They don't care if it sounds disloyal, because loyalty in Cleveland has been dead for decades. After living through a graveyard of failed quarterbacks, they're not about to sit quietly and watch another golden ticket get locked in a closet while Stefanski plays keep away with their future. The patience is gone. What's left is desperation boiling into rage. Twitter threads, podcasts, call-in shows. Everywhere you look, the message is the same. Free Shedeur before Cleveland buries him alive. And caught in the middle of this firestorm? Poor Andrew Berry. He's standing on the thinnest tightrope of his career, wobbling between a head coach chained to his outdated system and an NFL landscape ready to crown Shedeur as the next superstar. For Berry, there's no good move left. Trade Shedeur, and he looks like the fool who gave away a diamond. Keep him on the bench, and he's the executioner of Cleveland's only shot at salvation. Either way, the clock is ticking, and Miami's licking its chops louder by the second.
It's starting to swirl, man. We getting some new information out of Cleveland that the Cleveland Browns veteran players are about to turn their back on Kevin Stefanski. And is he losing control over the locker room? Now, we've seen this whole quarterback situation play out through the draft. We've seen what's happening in the training camp, seen what's happening in practice, and we've seen what's happening in preseason. Now, all camp long, there's reports that was surfacing and people in the media talking about.
In public, Berry's all smiles, nodding along with Stefanski for the cameras. But behind closed doors, he's sweating through his suit. The longer this circus drags on, the more Shedeur has to be thinking, why am I here? Miami, or anywhere else, would actually treat me like the star I am. And don't get it twisted, it's not just Miami circling. Other teams are lurking, waiting for Cleveland to stumble over its own shoelaces. Every flicker of hope fans get, the Browns stomp it out like a toddler jumping in puddles. Only this time, that puddle could swallow Shedeur's entire career. So what happens next? 3 brutal options. Berry finally goes nuclear, storms into Stefanski's office, and says, play Shedeur or pack up. Or Miami drops a trade package so huge Cleveland can't say no, handing the Dolphins a playoff weapon while turning the Browns into the league's punchline. Imagine it, drafting Shedeur Sanders, only to gift wrap him for Miami, where he balls out in January while Cleveland's still arguing about who their quarterback even is.
Given what we saw yesterday with Shedeur Sanders, somebody on the Cleveland Browns is 100% getting fired, probably by the end of this year. The person who's probably going to end up getting fired is Kevin Stefanski, because I know that he didn't want Shedeur Sanders on the team. It was Andrew Berry who made that pick. You can't really go against your GM. Bad things happen in this situation.
This is peak Browns dysfunction. Absolute textbook Cleveland chaos. The kind of fiasco that could be studied in film schools under how to ruin a good thing. The standoff drags on like a soap opera that's been renewed for too many seasons. Stefanski, stubborn as ever, clings to his system like it's sacred scripture. Barry, poor guy, keeps sweating through every button up in his closet, praying one of them holds up under the pressure. And Shedeur? He's still chained to the bench, watching his prime get wasted one snap at a time. Fans can't believe it. Their quarterback, the guy other franchises are literally circling like hungry wolves, is being treated like a gamble too dangerous to play. Each week feels like a new punchline. A fan base that's already endured decades of heartbreak is now being forced to watch Cleveland fumble the one glimmer of hope they've had in years. Meanwhile, Miami is lurking in the background, cool and patient, like a shark that's already tasted blood. They don't need to rush. They know sooner or later Cleveland will trip over its own shoelaces, and that's when the phone will ring. And the second that happens, the Dolphins won't just welcome Shedeur. They'll crown him their next superstar. You couldn't script a better mess if you tried. The plot's got all: a rookie quarterback with sky-high potential, a front office in civil war, a head coach allergic to risk, and a fan base teetering between hope and mutiny. It's drama, comedy, and tragedy rolled into one. Cleveland's greatest hits album playing on repeat.
Here it is, Ocho. Here's Kevin Stefanski not letting Shedeur run the 2-minute drill at the end of the game with the Browns. Let's take a listen to what he had to say.
Coach digging his heels into the dirt. A desperate GM stuck in no man's land. Rival teams circling like vultures overhead, and fans who sound one bad loss away from storming the parking lot with pitchforks. It's drama, comedy, and tragedy all wrapped into one cursed package. And Shedeur? He's trapped dead center in the storm, frozen in limbo. Does he stay and gamble on Barry somehow pulling off a miracle? Does he escape and join a team that actually believes in him? Or does he wait it out, knowing that by the time Cleveland finally wakes up, his prime could already be slipping through their fingers? And let's be honest, Browns fans have seen this movie before. They know how it ends. Same heartbreak, same chaos, same Cleveland collapse, staring at the wreckage and mumbling the question that's haunted them for decades. How do we blow it again?
Given what we saw yesterday with Shedeur Sanders, somebody on the Cleveland Browns is 100% getting fired, probably by the end of this year. The person who's probably going to end up getting fired is Kevin Stefanski, because I know that he didn't want Shedeur Sanders on the team. It was Andrew Barry who made that pick. You can't really go against your GM. Bad things happen in this situation.
History says it all. When the Browns find a golden ticket, they somehow trade it in for expired coupons. If they let Shedeur slip, the jokes will write themselves for the next decade. This isn't just football anymore. It's a soap opera of egos, power plays, and fans ready to riot. And right in the middle stands Andrew Barry, staring at the nightmare of his franchise QB, starring in someone else's highlight reel. Every snap Shedeur wastes on the bench is a league-wide announcement. This kid's available. Rival GMs know it. Miami knows it. And every second Cleveland hesitates, the phone starts buzzing louder.
And I would say there's a lot of work that gets done when you guys aren't out there, believe it or not. But even that's, and I say that, Mary Kay, even in a meeting or in a walkthrough, just our guys are getting exposed to a lot. Different. Every day we're mixing and matching, if you will, giving guys different looks. I've told you before, it's not going to be a 20 quarterbacks in our offense get to go against them in 7-on-7 and some team drills. So all of that adds up to reps for us to look at. And it's not just looking at the result of a play. We're looking really at everything with these guys.
Kevin,
they are both wired to get in early.
Miami's got the fastest offense in football and a knack for stealing headlines. But they're not the only shark circling. Half the league is already scribbling trade offers. Atlanta starving, New England desperate, even stable teams like Minnesota waiting for Cleveland to prove they can't handle having nice things. Fans love Shedeur so much they'd rather see him thrive elsewhere than rot on Stefanski's tired, trust the process, bench routine. That's not loyalty to the Browns. It's loyalty to the player. And once that line gets crossed, it's game over for the coach. Step back and look at the optics. If a playoff contender like Miami believes Shedeur could start for them today, while Cleveland won't even let him sniff the turf, what does that say? It screams the Browns have once again turned themselves into the NFL's favorite reality show. Barry begging,